Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Top Cut. I am Josue Crim, and with me are Kyle Pooka, Drew Woo Holton, and Michael, looking a lot better now, Pram. We have been gone for a couple of weeks. We took a little break because obviously regionals just finished, and in the meantime, we have had some Battle Roads. The first week of Battle Roads started, and there's been some national championships already. So that's kind of what we're going to be covering now. But before we do that, I do want to ask you guys if you guys have been to any Battle Roads.
No, I have not. You guys? How about you guys?
Yes. Am I the only one?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Woo! Alright, so...
Look at you.
Proactive. I did horrible. I missed cut, but I went down to Dayton on... I don't even know what day it was. I think Saturday. Dayton, Ohio. I dragged Mondak. Saw Dustin Zimmerman there. Some other people. But I basically didn't have a deck, so I had to borrow one from Henry Pryor. Props to Henry for letting me borrow it, but I don't think it was an ideal list. Nothing wrong with that, but things didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. I started the day off 0-1. The deck just couldn't set up. It was a Ezekiel's list with like Terrakion, one Mewtwo EX. He played like random trainers, a lot of one-of trainers. I don't think it helped his consistency a lot, like Revive and Energy Retrieval, stuff like that. So I started off 0-1. I won like 2 games in a row, and then I lost an embarrassing loss to the Vanillux deck. It was embarrassing.
Jonah will be proud.
Hey,
Who'd you lose to?
If you don't play Unknown Cure, Vanillux is a hard matchup.
What happened was he got up like 2 or 3 prizes right away, so he couldn't use his twins at all. And then I slowly started building up a huge Mewtwo on the bench to just swing for the rest of the prizes. So we got down to 2 prizes, and then my Mewtwo started going wild, doing his little thing. And then so I was powering up a Zekrom on the bench, and it was tied 2-2. And I knew in my head I had to retreat because he was going to be able to twins and attack for paralyzation again. And I just didn't do that. And my Mewtwo died like 6 turns later because it was paralyzed. And I lost. So I missed because I'm an embarrassing washed-up player. So
It's true.
we'll see what happens next weekend.
So you're going to be going to Battle Roads again next weekend? Or I guess in a couple days? Or in a week?
Memorial Day, so I don't know. We'll see. Might be doing a little fiesta. Maybe not.
What about you guys? Are you guys planning on going to any Battle Roads? I know I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to 2 this weekend, and then I think I only have I think I'm done with Battle Roads after that, something like that.
Okay.
I actually don't know what battle roads are going on around me. I haven't really looked. I'm not going to play in any, so I don't really need the points. I don't want to try to Grinch anybody that needs points still. So I might go to one if it's close and just try to cover it, but otherwise I'm not going to play in any.
Sounds kind of cool. Another thing that we want to talk about before we start talking about the actual subject of the day is Pokemon TCG Online. It obviously went down as we mentioned, and in the meantime, during our downtime, they brought up a single-player downloadable client. And I've had the privilege of being able to play it a couple times. I don't know if I should say privilege, though. Yeah, I mean, why don't we let Kyle describe it? Because I think Kyle's played it a little bit more than myself.
So, I mean, the original Pokemon TCG Online was pretty bad. It had just tons and tons of problems. The cards didn't work. The trading system didn't work. There were no tournaments. There's no way to play against friends. It lagged horribly. There were glitches. I mean, just you could go on all day about the problems. So they decided to remodel it completely, which I'm glad they did. Mike Lesick is in charge now. But they came out with this downloadable thing. I was hoping it would be a big improvement, but from what I'm seeing right now, it's not that great. It is really, really early beta, so I'm not too pessimistic about it, but it's just a downgrade almost, if that's possible, because the graphical interface is just it's less intuitive. The cards just look worse. The resolution is weird. Like, you either have to go full screen or it looks terrible. And then if you go full screen, it takes up everything and you can't even like minimize it. It actually takes up a lot of memory too, believe it or not. So that's another downside to it. And there's no way to even see like what energy is attached to your Pokemon, which is really bad. So it's ugly right now, but I think it'll get a lot better. They're just kind of throwing out their first version, and the best part about it is that there's no lag whatsoever. It runs a lot smoother, and that was the biggest complaint with the first one, that you would sit there and click on a card for like 5 minutes and it wouldn't do anything. And now this one's actually almost too fast, because you click on something and it's done instantly, and your computer, the opponent's turn goes by in like 2 seconds. Well, they'll play like 10 cards and you won't know what happens. So a lot of stuff needs to be fixed, but I like the direction it's heading in. I'm confident it'll improve, and hopefully we'll see a good product by the end of the summer.
Okay. Yeah, it's important to note that it's still in beta, so obviously they're bringing it out, that way we can test it and see the bugs that are currently there. The big one that I noticed was the energy one, and then when I left clicked on my character, it automatically attacked. That was a bummer. I was like, I just wanted to see what I had, dude. I didn't want to.
You guys
want to jab for 10 or whatever.
You guys weren't bothered by the table angle at all? Like that was like one of my big ones. I was just like, wow, this looks. I mean, like, no offense to any 5-year-olds, but it looks like you're the size of a 5-year-old looking at the table. Like, it's like really it comes at like a really bad angle where it's trying to like emulate what it's like to be on the player side, right? But I much prefer a top-down version, because like you could barely tell what was on the opponent's bench because everything just got so small. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I felt like the cards played again, like you guys said, the cards played too fast. So like when I would play like an energy down, it would just be like, oh, didn't even see it go down there, kind of thing. So I think they just need to slow it up a little bit and maybe change the camera angle.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, beta, whatever, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. I think it's really cool that it's a downloadable client, though, man. Yeah, I really do.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. Rather, it's just all feedback, you know. So
absolutely. So that's something that's there for people that are actually interested in playing the single player mode. I tried the basic blue deck, got owned game 1. All right, it's enough. But you guys are more than welcome to keep playing it. And
couldn't handle defeat, huh?
How did you lose with the basic blue deck, man? It's the best. It doesn't have like Vaporeon in it.
Yeah, and it also has Eevee and what's that?
Eevee evolves into Vaporeon.
I would hope it had Eevee. Man.
No, but what I'm saying is like, all right, I guess I should say it has, at least from what I saw, 11 energies, 1 Eevee, and 2 Teddiursas or whatever they were, the one that attacks for 20.
Yeah.
And Nintendo itself, 2 of that, 1 Eevee, 11 waters. That's what I saw in my game. Maybe more waters, I guess. Oh, and a bill. I saw a bill which drew me into 2 more waters. It was so bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Eventually the 20 gets taken down by a Fearow that deals 40 or 50 or something like that.
That's when you split bomb.
That's when you just don't attack with Teddiursa.
I have 2 Teddiursas, 1 Eevee, X waters. You try to win that game, man.
I would have taken a prize with Teddiursa, and then it would have been a Vaporeon, and then I would have won.
I took 1 prize. I took 1 prize as a water energy. Anyways.
Brother.
Yeah, thank you. I'll definitely tell PTCGO that. But yeah, I'm glad that they brought it out. They brought it out really fast, which obviously tells me that while they were doing the updates, they were obviously working on that for the most part. So either way, I'm glad they're doing that. And at the end of August, I think they said that they're going to be trying to roll around the multiplayer version again. So we'll wait for that. Yeah, end of summer. So hopefully by the end of Worlds, we'll be able to see something like that. And I mean, that's really all the news that we have for PTCGO right now. I know it's kind of like a fading thing, but I would really like to see it do well, and I'm sure all of us would too. So Battle Roads started. Battle Roads Week 1 results. I've read a few of them. Darkrai is dominant. How about that one? Did you guys expect that?
Yeah, pretty much. That and Tornadus.
Yeah. Tornadus EX is, I mean, a support character in the Darkrai deck in my opinion, but it's amazing. I mean, the card itself just wins games against so many decks.
I think
and it kind of.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Oh, sorry.
You were
go
saying?
ahead. Well, I was about to say, I think Tornadus is only a support character to Darkrai, only because Darkrai is just that good. Where it's just like,
Exactly.
Tornadus, you're really good, but you can sit on the bench for this one. No problem, I got it.
I mean, both of these cards are just amazing, amazing cards, and they're both from the new set. Which, hey, power creep, go figure. Yeah, I mean, Darkrai is better than I expected it to be, and I expected it to be really, really good. Just the fact that it deals 90 and 30 to the bench sets up multiple knockouts. You have the Dark Patch, which is just amazing. I mean, that card is just absolutely broken. And then you have Tornadus EX for backup against the Tracheon decks. It's just a very powerful deck, and it's been dominating not only these Battle Roads, but as we're going to find out soon, it's also been dominating national tournaments. So, Kyle, you've been a little bit quiet. Do you think maybe it was expected, maybe not? I mean, did it catch you by surprise?
I mean, I looked at all the results. Actually, it's not as dominant as you're making it out to be. There's actually quite a few scattered results. There's actually a lot of different decks that won, a lot of weird decks that won, to be frank. But yeah, I mean, I figured for the first couple weeks people would stick more to the tried and true, like Zekrom, Electric, and CMT, and the Darkrai decks wouldn't really catch on until later. But looks like they caught on immediately, and it's just showing how strong this stuff really is. I really think Darkrai is a ridiculous card, especially when you combine it with Dark Patch. I mean, you can just power it up out of nowhere, start Night Spearing everything, and 8 game can be over in like 4 or 5 turns after that. You can take multiple prizes. It's ridiculous. But I just want to note all the weird decks that won. Pick out a few of them. There was a Kling Klang deck that won a Battle Road. There's a Lugia Legend deck that won a Battle Road.
Drew's eyes.
Was it by Chris Bianchi?
No, actually no. It says Rachel D. Actually in Arizona.
Yeah,
oh, cool.
I think it was in the West, in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And The Truth won a Battle Road, defeating Sharpedo in the finals. I don't know what happened there.
All right.
But
can I stop you for a second, Kyle?
What?
You said Darkrai is dominant because multiple decks have been winning, and I was going to mention before you actually did that. Yeah, I mean, even though multiple decks have been winning, it's pretty fair to say that I was wrong in my assumption that there would be no easy battle roads. Now that I mean no disrespect to anybody, but I mean, let's face it, these are not tier 1 decks that have been winning. These are rogue decks, and to be honest, these rogue decks have bad matchups. Yes, I have not played them, but I have theorized them. And as the greatest,
that's not good for anything.
As the greatest theoretical mind, I feel I am well within my rights to be able to make these statements.
Your theory's old-fashioned. You're an old man. You're washed up.
Man, that's actually a really good point. But Kling Klang EX, in my opinion, should not. And I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm sorry to the Kling Klang player. Should not be considered a viable deck.
Sure, because
prove me wrong.
Yeah,
do you know what the deck does?
Because Kling Klang EX is an actual card.
Kling Klangs.
Do you know what the deck does before you judge it?
No, absolutely not. I just know it's a Kling Klang EX.
Yeah. This is why your theory is bad. You don't take into account that other things can exist.
Like Kling Klang EX.
All right, please. Prove
so
me
there's
wrong.
Kling Klang. All right, there's the one that shifts metal energy around.
Yes.
Okay. It can also shift rainbow energy around.
All right.
So it's modeled after that Darkrai High Dragon deck that did well in Japan.
All right.
You can move around a rainbow energy. Darkrai gives you stuff free retreat. You move all your energy, you max potion, your stuff never dies.
So slow.
So do you want to maybe show match against that? I mean, I will gladly play a variety of decks against that, and own it probably 8-2 or something. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I might take you up on that.
Like a theme deck challenge at one point.
Yeah, this is like a theme deck challenge all over again, dude.
8-2.
You're calling this a theme deck?
No, I'm not calling it a theme deck. I'm just saying
this is all disrespect coming from Crim.
This is not disrespectful. I really don't mean any disrespect.
Nothing but disrespect.
I don't mean.
Dude, if Clink only had to win
let
two
me defend
matches...
myself. Let me defend myself. I don't feel like I'm disrespecting the deck. I just feel like I'm being honest, and it's my job to be honest here. I don't know what to say. I mean, I could be wrong. Absolutely, I've been wrong before. We've all been wrong before, but I'm pretty sure
some of us more often than others.
Absolutely, I'm looking at you, Pram. And yeah, I mean, no disrespect to the state of Arizona. I'm from Arizona, and I love my players, but Lugia Legends should not be winning Battle Roads.
Knocks out Darkrai.
Absolutely, should not be winning Battle Roads. Still.
So does Terrakion. It is a Lugia Legend Terrakion deck.
Ooh, strong. That's actually pretty strong with the
Just remember that one game Kyle lost the Lugia Legend.
We don't talk about it.
Whoa! Oh wait. Oh, we're getting trolled. I started reading the chat and I see Pooka 311. I would destroy Crim at any game in existence.
That's Sammy.
Yeah.
Hi, Sammy.
Yeah. Oh, what's up, Sammy?
He's also Jason Klojinski.
Oh, Sammy, you're so clever. All right, so yeah, I mean the point is, I really don't mean any disrespect, but I have to be honest, and my honest opinion is that yeah, I don't feel like these road decks should have won some Battle Roads. I do feel like Darkrai is dominant, and I'm going to stand by that statement. It's shown dominance both in Battle Roads and in Nationals, and really. It took me by surprise because I thought Zekrom Electric was still going to be the best deck in the format, or not the best deck, but I thought it was going to be the most popular, most winningest deck in the format, at least for the first couple of weeks, and it just wasn't the case. So, I mean, yeah, go figure. Surprising. Did it surprise you, Pramela?
Darkrai winning, no. In terms of the other decks winning, like the Truth and Lugia Legend Box, you know, out of how many Battle Roads are going to be, I'm sure it's bound to happen.
What is Battle Roads?
Besides, I suspect these Battle Roads will be significantly less competitive than the earlier Battle Roads because everyone's kind of knows where they are. So, like, people who are the really competitive people who are way in the back in terms of championship points aren't going to go because they know they know their top 8 nationals are done for the year, and the people all the way on top aren't going to go or go to 1 or 2 just to secure their invite. So it's really the mainly competitive people who are going to go are mainly the ones who are floating around the 30 to 50 mark in terms of placement on the rankings. So I think it's going to be significantly less competitive in terms of how many players show up and how many how skilled those players are who are shooting for those championship points. That's not to say people won't go because, you know, it's just a fun tournament to go to, right? But I think that could be a reason why you're seeing such skewed results. Also, not everyone can get a Darkrai right away. So even if they wanted to play Darkrai, they may not be able to. So, you know, they go with something that'll beat Darkrai, like Lugia Legend Box.
Okay. Drew, thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of concur with Pramwat's.
Do you know what Pramwat said?
Yes, I do. Just in Dayton, it seemed like not that many people showed up.
Camera's refreshing, by the way. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. It's been like that for 5 minutes. But anyways, in Dayton, it seemed like the only people that showed up were the people that lived like within an hour of the place, or were Dustin Zimmerman trying to steal some points away. So it wasn't very competitive at all, and we'll see if that continues. It was the first week. Maybe it's a slow start, but I really thought they were going to be a lot more competitive than this. With a lot of people, it seems like, fighting for those slots. Aren't there a ton of people tied around like 40 points? Yeah.
Well, I mean, even if you're like 5 points behind, 6 points behind, you can realistically make top 40. Especially if you live in one of the easier areas or one of the areas that has a lot of battle roads. Absolutely, you can realistically make the top 40. So there should be more people competing. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just finals week. that type of stuff. It's obviously not a good timing yet, but I mean, who knows? We might see more attendance in the next 5 weeks.
I think part of it is like, right, cities, states, regionals, those were all big events, right? They had a lot of attendance. Cities were pretty big. I think back then, everybody had a realistic shot of getting an invite. You know, you did well at cities, and then you could do well at states, regionals, you'd get an invite. But now we're at this point in the season where all the big events are pretty much over, and you know, alright, if I only have 30 points, sorry, I'm probably not getting an invite. So what's the point in showing up to Battle Roads? So really only these people who are within like 40 through 60 ranked, whatever, are going to be the ones that want to show up to Battle Roads, besides people that are like, hey, there's a Battle Road within like 20 minutes of me, I'll go. Or people who just love tournaments so much, or just love Pokemon so much that they want to go. Or, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, really only the people that are on the border are going to be serious about Battle Roads for the most part. So the attendance probably won't be as big as the tournaments before. Tournaments aren't going to be as competitive, and it's really just going to be these people trying to win these events.
Does explain why Kling Kling and Lugia Legend won, yes, absolutely. I concur. I don't know.
I hope you lose to a Kling Kling deck 4 rounds in a row at Nationals.
Jeez, man, you have no idea what I was just thinking. I was just thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I better not lose to a Kling
It won't
Kling
be Kling Kling 4 times in a row. I'm sure it'll be like Lugia Legend in there.
Even if it's just once, man. Even if it's just once.
I'm sure there's going to be a Meganium in there with like multiple plus powers. And
I'm not going to even make it to Nats.
Let's see. I'm sure... Is Kabutops legal? It will be legal, I'm sure, at some point during Nats. To come in there.
No, it's going to be Crib flips over his Darkrai EX. He's like, there's no way I can lose this one. Bah! His opponent goes first. Plays a Legend box. Gets a Lugia Legend and does 200. First turns him.
True story. I tried playing a Lugia Legend box deck about, I don't know, 8 months ago or so. I really tried it. I put like a lot of effort into that deck.
It's my go-to bad deck.
I must have probably Legend boxed, I don't know, at least 20 times minimum.
Doesn't work.
And the big zilch. No, actually, that's a lie. One time I got Lugia, but no energies. That was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you know how it always works, right? You always get those 0 out of 20 times, right? But the one time you play against it, it's getting like 3 Lugias.
Reminds me of Rayquaza all over again from Nationals.
It doesn't matter how many times you've missed with the deck. When it's in that clutch situation, they always get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I really don't mean to knock these decks. It's just, they're underpowered in my opinion, and that's not a knock on the player. That's a knock on the game. Game should have a more balanced system. Anything else you guys want to add on about Battle Roads from last week? Obviously, we'll be covering second week's Battle Roads next week.
Sure. I don't think there's a way to determine balance with 1 week in the format, but sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If Lugia keeps winning and Kling Kling keeps winning, I will bite my tongue and I will publicly apologize to both of these players. You got my word.
Now I'm just going to show up to more Battle Roads and play Lugia.
And if you win, it's only going to solidify my statement and my beliefs on
Lugia being the best deck. I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Thank you for solidifying my deck choice for the weekend.
Someone should me some.
I really hope you do well with it.
The guy who won with Kling Klang, he's in the chat and he said, prepare to bite your tongue.
Yes. Wow. Absolutely. I really hope I do bite my tongue, because then that means that people are paying attention and people are taking the challenge. So, that's it for Battle Roads, because I feel like I am putting my foot in my mouth quite a bit right now. So let's go with national tournaments from previous or from other countries. I'm gonna start with Argentina nationals. I have a friend who played in it. Agustin Pugliese, he was at the Poker Things with me, if you guys noticed from my previous Top Cut episodes. He mentioned that he played Zekrom Electric. He mentioned that his team played Zekrom Electric, and that it was probably the most popular deck there. That there was only 4 Darkrai decks that made it to the 50-person nationals, and all 4 made the top 4. Yeah, that seems incredible to me. I mean, obviously, it makes sense because Darkrai is a very sought-after card, so it's hard to get the cards for Darkrai. I definitely believe that. That's why I understand why there would only be 4 in that deck and in that tournament. But the fact that all 4 made top 4, I mean, that's pretty incredible. That's pretty ridiculous right there. It just, in my opinion, it solidifies the fact that Darkrai is a very, very good deck, and it's absolutely a contender. And yeah, it dominated Argentinian Nationals, which is by no means a walkover. I mean, there's some very solid players in Argentina, and the fact that it dominated it means a lot to me. In my opinion, and again, I'm probably going to be putting my foot in my mouth here. Out of the few countries that I have seen listed, Argentina seems to be the most well-respected country as far as player skill is concerned, unless I'm missing a country or two.
You're just disrespecting everybody today.
Disrespecting Norway.
Got anything positive to say?
I'm a negative Nancy, dude. I can't help it.
You call me a hater, but you're taking the cake here, buddy.
All right, fine. I'm taking over your job for a week. Leave me alone. So yeah, that's one country. That's only one, but it's in my opinion one of the bigger countries, one of the more important countries. Then you have Austria, who actually had their tournament before Dark Explorers, and thank you to the TopCut.net for providing me with this information. Looks like Terrakion was doing pretty well. Terrakion Landorus won it. You were saying? Anybody? All right. Terrakion Landorus
you're
won
welcome for the results.
Yes. Durant actually top forward, and then you have a couple of other decks, Typhlosion Reshiram and Mew Young Mega Terrakion. It's interesting. The fact that Terrakion Landorus won a tournament before Dark Explorers means nothing now, but
I think you're safe to say that metagame is stuck in the Stone Age.
Yes.
The top 4 decks. Terrakion Landorus, alright, that one's recent. Typhlosion Reshiram second. That hasn't been relevant since, well, it died at Cities. Mew Young Mega Terrakion, alright, that was kind of at States, that died out by Regionals. And Durant, which I guess it was before Dark Explorers, so I mean,
and that's exactly it. It was before Dark Explorer, so you can't really take too much out of it, other than the fact that
that just blows my mind.
And went up against Durant probably in top 4, and then
safe to say Argentina's more well respected than Austria. Hey, just saying.
So.
We don't got to bring respect into this, all right?
All right,
Yeah.
Norway.
Neutral.
Neutral Norway. Darkrai EX won it again. Darkrai EX Terrakion actually was the top 2 decks in Norway Nationals. That's pretty impressive. Then you have Terrakion EX, Mewtwo EX, Regigigas EX with the Electrode taking the third spot, and then Zekrom Electric making its first appearance in the top 4 for national tournaments. Interesting. The fact that only one Zekiel so far has made top 4 out of these 2 nationals. And then you get to Switzerland, which is actually dominated by Zekiel, as you have the top 2 decks.
Also before Dark Explorers.
Before Dark Alright, so that explains why it was dominated by Zekiel, and that explains why there was no Darkrai EX. So before Dark Explorers, you do have Zekiel dominating, much more reasonable than Austria's Typhlosion Reshiram dominating. But yeah, again, not much can be taken out of pre-Dark Explorers tournaments. That's just formats that have not caught up to us. But yeah, Darkrai EX has been dominant. That's something to say. And like I said, I stand by my statement. I really feel like Darkrai is going to be taking over the format. I know things might change by nationals, but as far as Battle Roads are concerned, that's the number 1 deck to watch out for.
Well, I'm sure part of it was people probably didn't even test against Darkrai with it being so close. I mean, the set's release was so close to their nationals that there's probably people that were like, whatever, I'll just run Zekrom Electric again. And didn't pay too much attention to Darkrai. They're like, people won't play that. They didn't have time to test that. But then the people who actually did test that came and just swept the whole tournament. So I think that's probably something to do with it. Darkrai is very good, don't get me wrong, but when you say 4 people show up with a deck and all 4 make top 4, something's got to be wrong. Either people aren't prepared for it, or those people got lucky. I mean, it's a good deck, but there's no way 4 people show up and they're all the top 4. That just
deck, man.
doesn't really
I don't know,
happen.
man.
I mean,
with
like,
results.
it can happen.
Yeah, I don't know
It
what to
can
tell
happen.
you.
They also have to not get paired with each other until top 4.
Someone's trying to retake the hater spot. I'm just
Gotta be results
gonna
oriented
say
here,
this.
Kyle.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's like certain circumstances that have to happen for it to work out like that. Is what he's saying. Like,
Yeah.
People are generally bad against things they haven't really tested or seen before. So,
Yeah.
like, when Durant came out, right, like at the beginning of Cities, everyone was just terrible versus it. Like, people would just do stuff, like they would play down all their cards, and it just took them a long time to figure out how to play against Durant. And even then, there's still people who don't know what they're doing versus it. So I think it's gonna, a lot of people today are used to like giant damage that comes out of like Mewtwo's, Zakrums, right? And they're not really used to the spread damage from like Darkrais. So they'll do things, and then Darkrai will just kind of laugh at them because they can just go catcher 2 prizes, or they may not even have to use catcher. They go, oh well, thanks for saving me the catcher kind of situations. And I think once people get used to Darkrai, and once they start testing it, you probably won't see another one of like a 4 out of 4 kind of thing, But also, when people have more access to Darkrai, you'll have a lot more Darkrai's in the tournament. So you might see a shift toward like fighting Pokemon though. So go Darkrai.
Yeah, I mean, even though you're right, I do think that Durant is a little bit harder to play against than I mean, just because conventionally, at least at first, it's a little bit harder to get used to playing against Durant than it is to get used to playing against a normal standard deck like Darkrai. But I mean, that there is something to be said for the fact that it is a newer deck, so it's harder to. Some people just wouldn't have play test against it. But when 4 decks show up and 4 decks dominate the way they did, you have to kind of just tip your hat and say, hey, look, good deck, well-deserved domination of this of this tournament. So I don't know. It's very early. These are only the first few nationals, and there's still plenty more to go. But I mean, early results point towards Darkrai, and there's nothing you can really do about that, just other than prepare for it. Either make sure you can beat the deck, or play the deck yourself, because that it is the deck to beat right now, and I completely stand by that statement.
Yeah, I agree. I also think Darkrai has a natural advantage versus Zekrom Electric. Like,
yes, exactly. That's a really big deal.
So like, if it's like they said, and Zekrom Electric was like the deck to beat, then running in there with Darkrai also contributes to the fact that why Darkrai was so dominant.
Especially if they didn't adapt and they played 38-point dynamos.
Yeah.
That would just be like, there's no way you beat Darkrai then. And in addition to already having a pretty bad matchup, because I do think that is a bad matchup for Zekrom Electric. Yeah, I think it was more Darkrai catching people by surprise than anything else. Also, Darkrai is extremely good, but I think if people had been more prepared for it, it wouldn't have just taken the top 4 spots like that. That's all I was trying to get at.
Okay. All right then. I don't know what else to say about that. We're gonna have a difference of opinion in a few things, but we do agree in the fact that people do need to be more prepared for this deck. Now, there really isn't too much else that I want to add on about this, other than before I continue this statement. Please ask us any questions you guys may have. Linking you guys right now, and we will get to the viewer questions soon. But what I wanted to say was, there's really not too much else I really want to feel the need to add on about Nationals or Battle Roads, because they're still going on. There's not too much that you can do. It's still progressing, and the format will keep progressing, and we will see potentially a new deck that we're talking about in a couple of weeks, saying, hey, look, now this is the deck to beat. Go figure, it beats Darkrai, and it's taking over the format. You never know. That's the way the metagames go. But currently, that is the deck to beat, and people should prepare for it. And there's not too much else that we really can say about this, at least not right now. So unless you guys have something else that you guys want to add on or mention before we get to the viewer questions, I'd like to get into a break.
No, let's just take a break.
All right then. We will take a break. We will take a break, 5-minute break, and we'll be back with you guys with viewer questions. So please ask them, and yeah, we'll see you soon.